Hey, what's up guys, Averroes here and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be sharing with you guys what are the subjects that you'll be expected to learn in part 7 of law school. And without more being said, we are going to be jumping into the video and see and discover the subjects through the notes I prepared for you guys to be guided throughout the whole semester. So let's begin. Alright, so what we have here is the solicitor's account law subject. I can't remember the code, but you guys can check out the all of my notes that I provided in the description box below to the Google Drive link, and you guys can check out the code subject and yes, the notes for these subjects. In a nutshell, the solicitor's law account subject is when you have a client coming to your office. And if I can zoom in here, these are the rules, such as when your client gives you money, which account do you deposit the monies in? How do you set up your own law firm? How do you manage the monies that your client have given you? And what are the costs and money that you are required to pay for something, such as maybe I can't really remember. It's been weeks since I've left this subject. Yeah, a lot of people criticize why we have to learn this subject when we can hire an accountant in the law firm soon. But it's something we still have to learn. Well, and the statement of cost, I think it's the receipt or the entire monies that your client have to pay. Well, I think there is a reason why we have to learn this subject. It's because at least as a lawyer, you need to know some basic stuff about this, even though you're giving all of the work to your accountant in the office. There will be a client account, if I'm not mistaken. It's a bill of cost, not a statement of cost. A bill of cost is the receipt, or kind of like the quotation of how much money your clients have to pay you. Yes, the bill of cost also includes monies that your client will pay you to do stuff such as stamping agreements, stamping Form 14A, bring it to LHDN, something like that. Yeah, this subject involves a lot of calculation, I would say. So you will need to bring your own calculator for this subject. The second subject that I'd like to show you is the law of remedies. And this subject is divided into three different subjects. So that is bankruptcy, contracts, and torts. So each of these, you will have your own lecture for each of these subjects. So you will have a lecture for bankruptcy, you will have a lecture for contracts, and you will have a lecture for torts. And you will also have this subject in your final exam. Unlike SOLAC, I think you don't have to study SOLAC for your finals because there's no final exam for SOLAC. But for remedies, there's a final exam. This subject is basically about how are you going to calculate the remedies for your clients. So for torts, and in contracts and bankruptcy, it's more about procedure. It's not that difficult. It's really easy to score carry marks for bankruptcy, but contracts and torts, it's a little bit difficult to gain carry marks for both of these subjects. So yeah, in bankruptcy, there's insolvency. It's more about insolvency, how you're going to be giving notice of bankruptcy and then get the judgment. How are we going to discharge from being bankrupt and to annul the bankruptcy order? For contracts, you will have to determine the remoteness of the damages in order for you to claim the likelihood of getting damages, the remoteness, the quantum. How do you mitigate damages? For example, the other party breached their part of the contract. So how are you going to reduce the injury or damages on your part so that you won't somehow, in my own words, enrich yourself in that situation? There are also equitable remedies such as specific performance and injunction. For torts, it's about calculating damages such as personal injuries, which is personal injuries. There's damages for earnings. For example, when you met with the accident, but you can't make as much money as you did before the accident, or that you will lose that or that the money you make are decreasing as time goes by after the accident. And there will be damages fatal accident claims, which means that the person has already deceased, and then there will be the and from that there's the dependency and estate claim, such as maybe the spouse or children can claim on behalf of the deceased husband, and as such. Next, we have non-contentious legal matters. Non-contentious legal matters, if I understand it correctly, it's something that you don't fight in court. All you have to do is just file it, make documents for it. And yes, this subject also does not have any final exams. And similar to remedies, this subject is also divided into three smaller subjects. And each smaller subjects, like conveyancing, family, and probate, you have a lecture for each of them. So you'll have a lecture for conveyancing, you'll have a lecture for family, and a lecture for probate. To summarize conveyancing, this is a subject that you've learned last semester in part 6, but this semester is more about how are you going to create the contract and agreement. Are you going to fill in the form 14A, the form 16A? How are you need to put in the IC, the more of that, perhaps the caveat. And this, you'll be doing it through file 1, file 2, file 3, and 4. File 1 is you need to prepare a document, a bundle of documents consisting of how are you going to transfer the house with payment of cash. File 2 is transfer the house but through loan. File 3 is that you don't even have the title but you are going to pay it by cash. File 4 is you don't even have the title to the land and you are going to buy it with loan. For family law, you are also going to make a document for divorce and annulment, which is known as file 1A. And then you are going to have a mini court session regarding file 1A. So you will have your lecturer being the judge, the high court judge, and you will have to answer her questions when you want to apply for a divorce and annulment. So that's another assignment. There's also file 1B. File 1B, okay, I can't remember what that was about. I think it's file 1A is about divorce, file 1B is about annulment. And then file 1, if I'm not, yeah, yes, that's true. So file 1A is about divorce, file 1B is about annulment, and that file 1A, you have to answer questions by your lecturer in court. And then probate is when a person dies, so they will leave their estate to distribute among the beneficiaries or the heirs. A probate is when a person dies with a will, but a person who dies without a will have to go through the letter of administration. Next is forensic science. Forensic science, you don't have a final exam for it as well. It's mostly carry marks through assignments and quizzes. So it's like the CSI, FBI, CIA thing. It's the same thing that you guys watch on dramas and movies. It's about how the forensic experts collect evidence and determine that, such as fingerprints, how do the forensic people identify the skeletal remains, to prepare an investigation paper, conduct experiments on the semen, study the ballistics and the splashes or splotches of blood, evidence through computer and cyber forensics, even through fire and combustion, and you will also be exposed to how you are going to draft a charge. And lastly, forensic for drugs as well. So here it is. Now we have evidence. It's supposed to be 2, but I placed 1 for some reason. I'm sorry about that. Maybe I'll change it later. It's a continuation of what you guys learned from last semester in part 6, evidence 1. It's evidence 2. And you will have a final exam for this subject. And what this subject is focused on will be expert opinion, non-expert opinion, bad and good character of a person. Can you tender the bad character of a person in court? We have the witnesses, whether they are given privilege or not. And then we have corroboration. We have to support an evidence with another evidence to prove the cogency of what we are submitting. Then there's the burden of proof, such as on the balance of probabilities and beyond reasonable doubt, which will be studied more in depth in this subject. And finally is documentary evidence. Next up, we have criminal trial and advocacy. This subject has no final exam, but it's in a form of carry marks, and as the name suggests, it's a subject where you only do oral arguments or oral presentation inside a moot court in front of your lecturer. So in this subject, you will have some of the oral assignments that you will have is a remand application, a bail application, preliminary objection, facts and sentencing, and mock trial. So I think there's five oral assignments that you will have to do for this subject. I know it's quite a lot and it requires a lot of preparation, but it's going to be all worth it once you've completed this subject. We shall proceed with Criminal Procedure Code 1. And under this subject is mostly about the procedures. Wow, that delivery. But anyways, in the subject, you'll be learning about the investigation and role of the police and the police powers. Can they just randomly arrest someone? What are the conditions for arrest? For search, how do you conduct a search? And search includes searching a person's body and also searching the premises of a person's of the suspected person. Search can be a pat down by just tapping the person's body up and down. It can be a search by taking off their clothes and searching their orifices like nostrils, mouth, ears, and other holes on a person's body. And search list is where you search, of course, search a place, and then you need to prepare a document known as a search list containing all the stuff that you've collected and found at the premises and perhaps the way you collected it. I can't remember, but there are situations whereby you need to have a warrant for them. There will be arrests where you need to have a warrant. There are arrests where you don't need a warrant. It depends if it's seizable and bailable. And then there's also initiation of proceedings, like filing a complaint, getting the public prosecutor to start the case and stuff. Summons and warrants, there are the differences between summons and warrants. Summons is just to appear in court, but warrants is to somehow related to something, a crime which is more grave as compared to summons. And then there's bail. They are bailable and non-bailable. Bailable is everyone has a right to bail. Non-bailable is something that you can't be given bail, but you will have to fight for it. And then there's also unbailable, which is you cannot be given bail at all. There's charges. There are three types of charges, such as there are many offenses in one charge. There are many trials, but there's supposed to be one trial for one charge. It's a little bit complicated, but I guess guys get the point. There's courts and jurisdiction. What are the courts and your jurisdiction? Maybe in the sessions court or in a sessions court, if I believe the jurisdiction is 10,000 or 100,000, and it cannot a judge matters related to the death penalty. And the last subject we have today is Civil Procedure 1, a relatively new subject this semester. It discusses on the inherent powers of court, the cause of action, the limitation period, when it will be time barred, the civil jurisdiction, such as what can the court judge on in civil matters. And there will be conflict as to if you commit the breach in Sabah and Sarawak, does the court in Semenanjung have jurisdiction over that matter? If the person who breached the agreement is a foreigner, does our court have local jurisdiction against them? And something like that. We have parties, represented action, where you represent a large class of people with same interests, with the same grievances, and with the same damages. Writ is how do you begin the proceeding, appearance and judgment and default, whereby you don't even come to court to defend yourself. Summary judgment is a straight away judgment or straight away case concerning the dispute at hand, which doesn't require any lengthy argument. Pleadings is something that you want from court, and then there's settlement, amending, and striking out. That is all that I have to share with you guys with the subjects at hand. I'm really sorry that I am not really well versed this time around, but I'm willing to share you guys with what I have and to tell you guys what you'll be learning in part 7. I don't really know what to say unless you guys ask me questions in this video, so do let me know in the comment section below. Do like and share and subscribe. I will help with the best that I can. And till then, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope to see you guys again in the upcoming ones. Love you.